What does it mean to be a special grade sorcerer? There's a common misconception in the Jujutsu Kaisen community, with a good amount of people thinking that the rank of special grade is related to the character's strength, which causes a lot of confusion amongst the people, with strong characters like Hikari and Yuji not being considered special grade, while Principal Yaga is one. In this video, we're going to talk about what defines a special grade, as well as why certain strong characters are a special grade while others aren't. And in the end, we'll also talk about the characters that I think have the potential to be special grade. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy. And now let's get into it. The main thing that people need to understand is that the strongest grade of sorcerer is grade 1. And the best examples of that are Hikari and Yuji, two characters currently sitting at the top of the verse while not being considered special grades. And the reason for that is simply that they cannot cause a threat to a whole country. The first special grade we're going to talk about is Yuta Okkotsu. Yuta is one of the original 4 special grades, having an immense amount of curse energy on top of Rika and the ability to copy curse techniques. Yuta alone without anybody's help can be a threat to a country. The first reason for that is his own destructive capabilities. The second reason is Rika's destructive capabilities. And the third one is the infinite potential of his curse technique, having access to some of the best and most useful techniques in the verse. We have Sky Manipulation, Curse Speech with no drawback, and currently he potentially have Angel's curse technique Jacob's Ladder, and there are even theories about him having Kenjaku and Sukuna's curse techniques, because there will simply be no reason to leave Kenjaku back there without taking his ability that could be very useful against Sukuna. Now we do not exactly know the extent of that. If Rika eats Kenjaku's head, we have multiple options here. Option number 1 is getting Kenjaku's original curse technique and only that. Option number 2 is getting Geto's body's curse technique. Option number 3 is getting all the curse techniques that Kenjaku had, including abilities like the gravity curse technique from Yuji's mom. And the last option would be to get all of the special grades curse techniques. And the third one would be Yuta copying some of the curse period's curse techniques, but we will have to wait to see if that even happens at all. All this is to say that Yuta's potential is infinite and will definitely cause a threat to the world. Next on the list is Suguru Geto, but before we get into it, I have an announcement for you. If you're looking for some good quality clothing at a good price, look no further than Anime Express. Whether you're looking for comfort or style, they would have everything you need. Literally everything from all of your favorite series. Of course, they have Jujutsu Kaisen, but they also have a multitude of other series. And on top of basic clothing, they have all sorts of accessories, whether it is for you or simply to decorate your house. Things such as bonnets, rings, lights, or whatever you would want. If you want to support my channel or simply get some good clothing for yourself, go over at animeexpress.store. And before your purchase, don't forget to use code GODLYOMEN10 for 10% off. Hopefully you find something for you, and thanks to Anime Express for sponsoring this video. While not being one of the strongest in the verse, it still has the ability to overthrow a whole country. And this is for the simple fact that he can create an army of cursed spirits. Out of every sorcerer, he was the one that was guaranteed to reach that level at some point. The simple fact that he was consistently eating cursed spirits would at some point give him the ability to summon an army big enough to destroy everything. And we even have proof of that in the night parade of 100 demons. If it wasn't for characters like Gojo and Yuta, Geto would have 100% succeeded. A character like him not being based on potential but on a direct feat, showing that he can overthrow the country. But in terms of his fighting capability, he is not bad either. Of course, he doesn't compare to the other people on top of the verse, but adding his intelligence and battle IQ on top of this could be a very difficult opponent even for the strongest characters. I also just wanna add, Kenjaku is also a special grade, but he is already in Geto's body. So on top of originally being a special grade, he is just a better Geto, with not only better jujutsu, other curse techniques, more curse spirits, more knowledge, more IQ, and a more competent barrier user with a domain expansion and reverse curse technique, and I would also assume better physical stats in general. Kenjaku is simply Geto, who is already a special grade, who is just way better at everything, therefore making him a special grade and even more of a threat. Next on the list is Yuki Tsukumo, and I don't think there's much to say here. Yuki is simply a very competent fighter with the ability to use reverse curse technique and a domain expansion. She also has the ability to fight and pressure her opponents even in a near-death state, but what makes her a special grade is the ability to create a mini black hole. Using this to its full potential, she definitely has the ability to even destroy the whole planet, which makes her more than qualified for that rank. And the last one of the original 4 special grades is Gojo Satoru himself, he who was known as the strongest, the character who without a doubt could take out the whole country and even the whole planet. He could even do so if other special grade sorcerer were on the opposite side. I don't even think we need to get into his feats and abilities. He is just undeniably a special grade, so strong that he could even be given his own rank. Same could be said about Sukuna. Sukuna is not from this time period, which is why he is not considered one of the 4 special grades, but being the sorcerer of the Heian era, he is the strongest in the Jujutsu Kaisen verse, being even above Gojo Satoru, meaning that he represents the same threat that Gojo is for the world. But being evil on top of everything, Sukuna can just destroy everything one day just cause he feels like it. Nobody in the world, excluding Gojo Satoru, would be able to stop him. Undeniably a special grade as well. The last special grade I'm going to talk about is Masamichi Yaga, the character who is pretty weak in comparison to everybody else, who was easily defeated by Principal Gakuganji, but his ability to create puppets would have been a danger to the country, therefore making him a special grade despite not being that strong. A character that I'm forced to mention is Kokichi Muta, also known as Mekamaru. If he managed to defeat or simply get away with his life from Mahito and Kenjaku, he would have for sure been a special grade, at least in my opinion. This is for the simple fact that he also has the ability to create an army, but there is also an immense amount of curse energy that he had stored for multiple years. And even if he wouldn't have been a special grade right away, with just a little more time to grow as a sorcerer, he would have become an even bigger threat, somebody that would for sure classify as a special grade. Now we need to talk about strong characters that do not make the cut to being a special grade. First we have Hikari Kenji, stated to be some form of equal to Okkotsu, but still not being considered a special grade. And this is simply due to the reason that Hikari cannot overthrow a whole country. Yuta saying that Hikari is a character that could be stronger than him means 2 things. That means that Hikari can outlast Yuta in the fight and possibly win in the end. That also means that he could be as reliable in certain situations, mainly when it comes to fighting strong opponents. If Hikari wasn't there, Yuta would have been the one to go fight Kashimo, at least in my opinion. But Hikari was strong enough and reliable enough to go and take care of that. But the problem here is that he doesn't have infinite potential related to his curse technique, something that would allow him to just grow stronger and stronger until he could be a threat to the country. He also doesn't have the destructive capability to take it out in one hit, and he for sure doesn't have the ability to create an army. The next example is Yuji Itadori. I feel like with what happened in the Sukuna fight, Yuji has proven to be around the average special grade level, or even possibly above them, by showing some form of relativity to Sukuna even though he is holding back. And on top of that, his hacks is crazy, apparently having the ability to split souls with his fist. We don't know exactly how it is going to work, but we still know that it's something that is very impressive. He also have an insane potential considering what he could have ate in the past month, or even what he learned from Yuki's research about the soul. But from what we know currently, there's just nothing that makes him a special grade. There's nothing about him that shows us that he could overthrow a country. He's a character that could beat a special grade in hand-to-hand combat, potentially, but that doesn't give him the ability to destroy as much as them. But I do believe he might get a broken ability until the end of the series that would actually get him to a special grade level, but I could be wrong about that too. Lastly, I wanna talk about characters that have the potential to be special grades. The first one on this list is Uraume. The simple reason is we don't know too much about the character. From what we've seen, Uraume stays at grade 1. Just like Hikari, she's also on a special grade level in terms of combat, but we haven't seen anything from her that makes her a special grade. I do think there's a possibility to be surprised in the future, because Uraume's curse technique seems to have a lot of potential, and I feel like it wouldn't be too crazy for Uraume to be able to freeze a whole country, but that's just too early to say. She also possesses reverse curse technique, and I think it is fair to assume that she has a domain expansion, and who knows what those effects could be. But again, it is too early to speak. We will have to wait until we get more information about the character, but I think Uraume is one of the characters that is more likely to be a special grade out of all the grade ones. The next one I want to talk about is Kashimo. I don't know what you expected on my channel. Of course we're going to talk about Kashimo. Now even though Kashimo is above the average special grades level, we haven't seen anything from him that shows us that he has the ability to overthrow a whole country, which makes him a grade 1. But one thing we never get to know is whether or not he has the ability to create way bigger waves. Depending on the size of those waves, it could be a threat to a country, but again, we will never get to know that unless Gege decides to tell us on the side. So for example, I wouldn't be surprised if Kashimo could blow himself up in his curse technique in order to create an explosion that could take out a whole country and wipe it completely off the map. But again, we have no confirmation, so there is no way for me to prove that. So until proven otherwise, Kashimo is a grade 1, despite being one of the strongest. And the last one is Uro and the sky manipulation. And this is for the simple fact that sky manipulation is such a unique technique. I wouldn't be surprised if it could do more than what we were shown, because we still do not know the extent at which it can distort space. We couldn't even get to see all of her abilities, because she was fighting 2 characters that are actually a counter to her, her, Kurorushi, and Yuta. And every single time she took damage during that fight is whenever she was suffering from curse technique burnout or whenever she would release her sky manipulation armor. But aside from those moments, Uro is basically untouchable in the verse, aside from certain characters of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if she had some form of abilities that could be a threat to those people. Let me know in the comments if I forgot a character that you think could potentially be a special grade. Maybe Yorozu, but you can let me know that down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoyed. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subs and I'm counting on y'all for that. I appreciate y'all for making it to this point and I will see y'all next time. Peace. If you're still here, might as well click on one of these on your screen, bruh. Just so you can see what else I have on the channel, my other videos, my other contents and things along those lines. But anyways, see ya.